spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade. He is the red Protoss. He is from Alpha X. He will qualify tonight. It is ZOUN.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, currently teamless, it is our blue Terran player. It is none other than BYUN.
Well, BYUN and ZOUN round one. This was not what I was expecting by any means.
Right.
I was expecting more of a, chiller match, between Dark and ZOUN or something of that nature. The entire bracket is just ridiculous.
Oh, it's just completely stacked. Yeah, of course. Korea, definitely one of the most competitive regions, and has been, since
forever.
The dawn of StarCraft. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this early game here. So far, things are opening up relatively standard. It looks like ZOUN is going for, instead of going for that Reaper wall, this map is a little wonky because you can't quite do it with the normal, core gate pylon. So ZOUN instead choosing to drop that gateway right next to the Nexus. We should see the core go behind the gas, behind the minerals, when he gets around to that. And of course, that scouting pylon, or like scouting probe coming out right after the gateway. It's gonna be a little annoying.
Oh yeah, tasing that SCV who's trying to build a barracks down. Poor SCV, man, he's just trying to do his job. Friend comes along and shoves him off.
Right. At least he's got a good friend.
Yeah. Even Terran players. Well, Orbital and the Reaper now gonna come out as in as most games, Terran players always have this, that one standard way of opening with Orbital, Reaper, barracks, and stuff of that nature.
Oh, for sure. Looks like ZOUN was trying to be a little bit annoying and delay that CC. Couldn't quite get it done though. But we do see his Nexus is already on the way. Goes for the core Nexus, definitely the safer, more standard option as opposed to just going gateway Nexus. We see that Adept coming out first. So far, everything looking pretty on par. We see all the pylons in and around ZOUN space. The third pylon will come down eventually, and there is a probe on the map, and it's not quite heading home. So maybe something funky will happen. But I think
what I noticed in the games he played against Cure when he 2-0'd Cure the other day, he likes to send that probe out to a random location on the enemy side of the map and just pop a pylon.
Yeah.
Either behind a mineral line or in the mineral line or some annoying place.
Totally. And, just, keeps your enemy on their toes. Now, one thing I do want to point out here, we did see that Reaper immediately go down to that Adept. That wall that I was talking about earlier with that cybernetics core behind the gas prevented the Reaper from running away, and it got kind of trapped in a corner there. So ZOUN able to just walk straight across the map here with his Adept, knowing there's no fear of a Reaper.
Yeah, indeed. But there are 2 Marines and a bunker, which the Adept is very terrified of. So it's just going to, shade behind it, hit the command center once, and then now it's going to shade into the main.
Yeah, definitely just sending that shade up, confirming, okay, you have a reactor coming, is there anything else fancy about to pop out?
I mean, the starport is almost done, and there are Widow Mines on the way from the factory. The factory did not switch onto the reactor here, as it does sometimes. For double Hellions, or double Widow Mines even. 3 gateway wall for ZOUN here in the front. Very, very interesting.
Well, we got the 2 gateways in the Robo coming out, so definitely wants to make sure he gets those observers across the map. We see Blink started up as well. Imagine we'll probably see another Nexus sometime between now and like the 4:30 mark, and that's about the time that this Widow Mine drop will be hitting. Should be 3 Widow Mines. 1, 2. Oh yeah, here comes the third. Yeah. Yep. So Blink isn't going to be done for this quite yet, but we should see 4 to 6 stalkers kind of out and about. It'll be interesting to see where ZOUN tries to keep those stalkers to defend against the aggression, right? It's going to be something. It might be a Banshee, it might be Hellion, it might be Widow Mines, something like that is coming. Not sure, but he
knows he has to be ready for something.
Exactly.
And as this medevac comes over with the 3 Widow Mines, I do want to point out that the robotics facility is also about halfway done here, allowing him to go into a corruptor and corruptor colossi disruptor. I combined them.
Yeah. Sounds about right. I really like this out of BYUN.
That Widow Mine. That burrowed Widow Mine, man.
Yeah, and it's just delaying that Nexus a little bit more. Now, ZOUN actually didn't go for that fast 3rd Nexus. Did drop that robotics bay picked up the extra gas at the natural. And with Blink done, he should be able to just clean this up. Yeah.
I love that.
Hmm.
Blink micro, everyone. It is awesome. It is truly the best thing to see.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Siege Tank's finally coming out for BYUN here. Has someone left already? Cool. Colossi about halfway done, along with Extended Thermal Lance just starting for ZOUN. And looks like they're just both getting ready for a more drawn-out game. Game 1.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And for those of you mentioning in chat, yes, this is a best of 3. We can
I changed it, yep.
All right, sweet. Good catch. Now this medevac trying to drop in here, kind of just pokes, sees is there anything here, pulls back. It still has 2 Widow Mines in there, and I like how BYUN is just leaving this back here, just saying, okay, this isn't going to do me much good at home, and at some point when you're doing some sort of aggression, I'm just going to drop this in, queue it up, and hopefully get a few extra probes. Scan come down is going to clear that observer.
Oh yeah, and here it comes. Here is the generic Marine Tank Marauder medevac push that most Terran players do.
Yeah, now ZOUN does see it coming with these 3 Stalkers, and there is 1 Colossus finished. Looks like another one will be done by the time this attack comes, but there's only 1 shield battery.
Oh, the medevac moving in, it drops a Widow Mine in the back of the 3rd as well. Here it lands and kills 3 probes immediately.
Yeah, 3 of course isn't too bad.
He loses the medevac with 1 Widow in it.
Yeah, and of course ZOUN is going to sack a probe just to get that Widow Mine. I like this double drop. We have 2. Yeah, 2 medevacs flying into the main base, and a warping of a couple Stalkers here. This isn't quite enough to deal with this, but there is a shield battery in the main, so we'll have to see what happens as the push comes down into the 3rd base as well. ZOUN is forced to pull all the probes back into his natural while dealing with the stuff in the main.
Yeah.
Looks like this Nexus will fall.
Yeah,
go ahead.
3rd base does fall, and the push in the main is finally shoved back. But at what cost? He does lose his 3rd Nexus here. And BYUN is just sitting here at a pretty good position with Widow Mines burrowed in the Siege Tank. Yeah,
there's no observer here, but of course the Blink Stalker Micro can reveal that 1 mine. We don't have an armory quite yet, I don't believe. Yeah, no armories out. And none on the way either. Nice scan coming down to be sure that there are no observers watching this big Doom drop, and these units are actually going to boost into the main. ZOUN's trying to send some Stalkers up there, but the units get unloaded, and this is going to be a pretty difficult hold here for ZOUN as he tries to run all of his probes away.
Yeah, 7 have fallen so far, and BYUN is just doing a great job. Oh, he unpowers all the gateways and the High Templar and the Templar archives. That does fall as well, meaning no more HTs are available. He is still able to produce Colossi as he has the robotics bay, but without the Templar archives, you're going to have a bit of a harder time without Storm against Bio.
Yeah, and it looks like all of these units will ultimately get cleaned up, but if this push comes down into the 3rd base, I mean, we've got what,
the Hero
3
Zealot,
zealots?
the one Hero Zealot trying to fight the Marauders.
This is going to be tricky. I expect we'll probably see a cancel, if not a... Oh, okay, he's going to let it finish. And with the 2nd Colossus joining here and the shield battery, ZOUN's able to actually do a little bit.
It's not enough. He stimmed on top of the 1st Colossi.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I think ZOUN knows that if he loses this Nexus, he is...
out of the game.
He's out of the game, right? You know, with the main that far mined out and his opponent on 3 fully saturated bases, it's going to be real tricky to come back.
I mean, he's sitting here, he's trying to bide his time and warping as much as he can, and there are Archons on the way along with more Zealots and another Colossus, so at least he has 2 to fight into this, but getting on top of the Siege Tank is going to be hard. He tries to go in, blinks back immediately from the Stalker, says the Siege Tank will fall. He's beginning to shove this back with the help from the 2 Colossi. The Stalker's not being able to do much against the Concussive Shell Marauders, and I mean, BYUN is forced back eventually. Great play there by ZOUN holding on.
Yeah, now one interesting thing we should point out, ZOUN currently has a Forge but does not have any upgrades yet. His opponent currently only on +1 attack, I believe.
They're both on +1.
Upgrades. Oh, okay. Excuse me. You're right. You're right. They're both on +1.
Close.
So okay. So it's not as
Whoa, Zoun's
lopsided, I
just
thought.
going for it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think that's the right answer, but I mean, you down this much, so why not?
It's a fair bit of splash damage here, and yeah, if he can kind of keep these bio units attacking in a choke,
Yep.
then he can definitely get some work done. Now, BYUN did take down those rocks, so it's a slightly larger area for him to come up. There's some Vikings in the mix here too, so he's got to be careful not to let those Colossi get picked off from afar.
He really does. Vikings doing so much damage against Colossi is the only thing to suit up is that those 2 Archons and the 6 Stalkers.
Ooh, looks like a rallied Colossi does get picked off as it's trying to wander across the map, and that is going to signal ZOUN that maybe I'm overstaying my welcome and I should roll back home. Gets his 4th base on the way. It's about halfway done at this point. We don't see a 4th CC yet out of BYUN.
Nope. We do not indeed.
But we do see a push coming across the map, so it'll come down to, once again,
that
how
Widow Mine
well
again.
ZOUN can hold. Oof.
BYUN's just littering the map with Widow Mines, like he does. So, here we go. The army comes in. It's mostly Marauder, Viking, and some Marines at this point. The Colossi one is going to fall almost immediately here. Most of the Vikings have fallen, and it's just pure Marauder, basically, with a few Marines against this. And, I mean, it doesn't look like ZOUN's going to be able to hold this. He is falling in supply. He does fall below 90. He's warping in more stuff. GG's called, and BYUN does take the first game.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. That attack into the 3rd base and killing that Nexus, I think, really just set ZOUN back, and he just couldn't recover, couldn't keep up with the production. And then the drop in the main that like just depowered those gateways for so long, also a little bit problematic.
Yeah, he definitely had the Artosis pile on there for those 5 gateways and the Templar Archives. Unfortunately, it was just not a very fortunate game for game 1. But I believe he can bring it back.
Yep, I certainly think so. Certainly hope so. And we'll see what happens on this next map, Pillars of Gold.
Here we
we'll
go.
See if ZOUN can make a few adjustments. I feel like a couple more sentries earlier actually to help kind of like protect that 3rd base, just like zone some things out could have helped. Maybe a Guardian Shield as well. But
I don't think he
definitely
did he make no sentries that game?
I think all the gas is going into those tech units, right? Going into the Colossi, going into getting the Templar Archives up. He had some sentries there towards the end of the game, but I think you're right. I don't think he certainly didn't have enough to force field.
No.
The ramp or I guess the little choke area into the 3rd there.
Unfortunate for ZOUN in the game 1. Well, here we go, everyone. Game 2, Pillars of Gold. If we can load in. Good old Korea ping. Oh, come on.
Come on, Blizzard. You can do it.
We believe in you. What?
I wonder if someone's going to time out.
Oh, probably. There we go.
Here we go.
Spawning in the top right side of Pillars of Gold, he is the red Protoss from Alpha X. He is ZOUN.
And the bottom left-hand side, his opponent, currently up 1 game in this best of 3, is our blue Teamless Terran player. It is BYUN.
Here we go. Game number 2. As BYUN with that, that Marine tank Marauder push did a little bit of damage, and by a little bit I mean a lot.
Yeah, took out 1,000 shield and 1,000 health at least.
Yeah.
Snagging that Nexus.
So ZOUN here is going to decide the wall against the Reaper, which is a lot easier on this map, unlike the last one.
Yeah, definitely. This is a fairly common building placement here. You can use your first 3 structures to kind of wall off, prevent the Reaper from jumping in here.
Well, I just hope we do not have a repeat of game 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I believe in our boy.
I do too. He will make it. He will qualify. It is time for the reverse sweep, ZOUN. Channel your inner Armani and reverse sweep this man.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go ahead and turn the volume up maybe 10% or so. Is that? Yeah.
Reaper and Orbital, along with the Cybercore, are on the way for both players. As you know, this is TVP. Nothing crazy is going to happen unless somebody decides to proxy 4 barracks or something of that nature.
Yeah, and of course, we might see some sort of like proxy tech structure, maybe proxy Stargate, but I think ZOUN likes to play it fairly standard.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, maybe drop the 3rd pylon somewhere else on the map so that if that Reaper rolls into the base, it's like, okay, where's that 3rd pylon? It starts freaking out and has to scout everywhere, play a little bit safer.
Give him a little bit of a few things to think about.
Yeah,
as he's sitting at home. So BYUN's Reaper is going to go across the map. He did lose it pretty unfortunately in the last game, which is quite uncharacteristic, especially for BYUN. But the same Adept that killed it last game is going to meet him this game.
Yeah, now the Reaper should be able to get out, no problem. The Adept might hit it one more time, but it is fast enough to run away. We should see, actually, a second. Okay, we do have a second Adept coming out.
Okay.
And with that, I think ZOUN is going to send this Adept across the map. I feel like this is becoming a little more popular. A lot of people go for the Adept into the Stalker. Going for Adept into a second Adept does let you get your tech structure down a little bit faster, and we do see that robotics facility already halfway done.
Yep. So both players, going for the same basic ideas of what they did last game. BYUN again with that, those Widow Mines. Probably 3 of them again going to hop into a medevac and go harass ZOUN, see what they can do. Maybe they can pick more probes than 3 this time.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one thing that's interesting to note is that this is a much. I mean, last game we did see a fast robotics bay, but this is even faster. I think the
last one fell at around 4 minutes too. So this one's one's a good 30 seconds faster. Huh.
Yeah, and I mean the trade-off is that we see 2 fewer gateways, right? The last time you mentioned that wall at the front, that was the gateway robotics facility. Here we're getting that that faster Colossus or faster disruptor tech. So we'll be curious to see. It looks like this might actually be a Colossus drop build. Is that?
Oh.
Well, I will be very excited if we see like the speed.
If you called this, I'm gonna lose it.
This is not a super common build, but we do see it on NA from time to time. Now the real question is, are we going to see the Warp Prism speed?
Yep.
Oh my
there
God!
It is.
Here it comes.
You called it. I think you actually just called it.
Yeah. So this is a pretty neat build. The nice thing about getting a Colossus this fast is it lets you just kind of like kite all of these tier 1 units that the Terran is going to have, right? All their Marines and the mines you don't really have to worry about, and you can just start getting some damage done to the worker line.
Yeah. Colossi versus SCVs, pretty unfair fight for those SCVs.
Yeah, we are going to have to be worried about this drop in the main of BYUN, but this Colossus is about to drop, and BYUN is not going to be worried about these Marines whatsoever. He does have to be careful, and of course the surprise, the jig is up. BYUN knows, all right, you have a Colossus, and so
a little bit early there, bud.
Yeah. A little careful with this.
He's also got
2 Stalkers.
Oh my God! I thought he was going to see it Gravatic boost over out like a Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, they just move ridiculously fast with the upgrade. Marines dropped on the low ground, starting to pick off the wall that ZOUN put there to block off the Reaper.
Yeah, and of course this is really annoying. This is the downside of going for this wall, so that's why we do see some players going for this stuff. But on the other side of the map, we do see...
dropped on a Widow Mine! Oh my God.
Oh.
Poor man drops on a Widow Mine. In ZOUN's natural, though, BYUN is doing some damage. He's already killed 3 probes to only 2 SCVs as he's forced to run away. Stalker's finally making it there. Well, now he's killing the 3rd.
Now there is a Viking here as well as a Raven, so ZOUN does have to be very careful with this speed prism. Doesn't want to get caught out because if the Raven disrupts the prism cannot pick up that Colossus. So has to be a little bit careful here with those units. We do see this Reaper actually getting in somehow. I'm not entirely sure how the Reaper got in here.
He just walked through the natural, actually.
It just rolled straight on in, apparently. Does get picked off, but definitely, a little bit annoying, pulling a couple Stalkers back into the main and just taxing ZOUN's attention.
He indeed is. Now, I do want to point out that there was a Widow Mine at the behind the mineral line of the third, but that was picked off by ZOUN after it, fired on a poor, unsuspecting probe.
Oh, sad probe indeed. And much like that Widow Mine goes down, the observer on the other side does get picked off by this Raven and Viking. Now we do see some more Marine drops coming out. They're going to get another probe, just one, before boosting on out. And looks like we do have one Colossus staying with the army, another Colossus loading into the Speed Prism. And it's just going to kind of just chill. I guess bide its time. Now, third base is completed here for ZOUN. Saturation is fairly good, and the third CC is only halfway done. But we do have a little bit of an army coming across the map. Observer is going to spot it. It will give up its life for that information.
This poor observer. Man, these Protoss units are just getting bullied.
Oh,
Ooh.
That was so clutch. Okay, so we just saw ZOUN bring that Warp Prism over, feedbacks the Raven, and that's huge because that means that the Raven will not be able to disrupt these Colossi, and that's going to make this hold much easier here. Now, the two medevacs boosting into the main are kind of awkward here, especially since this army is caught on the outside here. Siege tanks are shelling on the low ground, and the bio has gotten into the main here. We do have shield battery overcharge going down here, going to protect some of the probes, but 5 are going to fall. Meanwhile, we do have a gateway falling at the front, and again, these units are getting dropped and just hammering away at that Reaper wall that is a little bit exposed. Colossus is going to try to do some damage here. Meanwhile, we do have some Marines trying to drop into the natural. Stalkers are getting warped, and we'll deal with those. And it looks like ZOUN is getting ready to try to move on in. Charge is done, so these units are going to get on top of the siege tanks. Meanwhile, in the main, the bio is going to pick off that Colossus. The Warp Prism needs to run here so it can try to collect some things. One Colossus is going to slowly start wandering in. Some units are getting warped in, but so many probes are falling here, both at the the third base and the main. This is looking kind of dicey. It looks like the main army at the front is cleaned up. All the stuff at the third is dead, and the units in in ZOUN's main are going to boost away.
Jeez, that was a ridiculously unfortunate push for ZOUN again. In a very similar situation to what we saw in Game 1. I mean, the Archons at the front did do a great job holding off the reinforcements of that army, which would have just made this almost unbreakable.
Yeah, I think BYUN was expecting that attack to come from kind of like the northwestern side, right, and try to like pop that nexus over there. So that's why he had his army between the natural and the third. But the path that they took was just straight down the middle. So after the siege tanks, kind of laid on the high ground there, BYUN just was able to boost into the main, and ZOUN's army was completely out of position. We do see the Warp Prism flying back around, and I actually just noticed that probe from the beginning of the game is still chilling in the bottom right side.
Oh, dude, it always chills there. I told you, it's always there. That's his trademark. He likes his idle time.
Probe. All right. Well, the Warp Prism is driven off by that missile turret.
This poor observer.
Poor observer
again, man.
Scanned down.
Hallucinated Phoenix. That's not even real. Gets destroyed.
It does get in, and it does get some good information here. He sees the Ghost Academy. Is aware that ghosts are starting to get put into the mix, and he has to be very careful of those EMPs. We do not have the enhanced shockwave quite yet, so they're just the regular EMPs. We actually don't even see enhanced shockwave on the way, but this is again a beefy, marauder-heavy army wandering across the map. Now,
14 marauders with 4 ghosts.
Yeah.
Concussive shell +1 as well. Oh boy, here we go. BYUN gonna stim and walk right into this. Nice force fields dropped by ZOUN, trying to deny some of this here. As the tank in the backline is going to start shelling. The Colossus does fall to those Vikings here, and BYUN is starting to push through the Vikings land. There's another Colossus coming in now, though. And, well, it looks like, I think BYUN just kind of cleaned this up, and ZOUN's army supply is only at 13.
Yeah, we see that army supply is 17 to 72 overall. That is going to do it, and BYUN is going to take game number 2 and take this best of 3.